Thank you. So my talk today is about a problem with respect to determining drug classes for medication. So the medication data in electronic medical record is going to be coded at the level of a prescription, most likely, especially in outpatient EMRs, like furosemide 20 milligram tablet. But we're going to want to be able to roll that up into therapeutic classes like diuretic or anti-heart failure, for lack of a better word, classes and functional classes like beta blockers and things like that. And we're going to need resources that link those prescription records to the drug class. And unfortunately, the standards we have for doing that have problems. So I'm going to highlight those problems. Along the way, I'll illustrate why that we need these resources or something like them. And then I'll talk about a possible way to address them. And the solution has to do with just paying closer attention to what's really going on with drug classes and redesigning the drug knowledge accordingly. So current standards like SNOMED, and if you don't know what SNOMED and NDF are, stay tuned, I will explain. But these standards can't help us to answer even simple questions from the EMR. So for example, if we just wanted to know how many patients that have hypertension are not on an antihypertensive medication, we'll get wrong answers. And let me illustrate. So here's some hypothetical EMR, EHR patients with help from my children on picking the fake names. So we see that we have 5 patients. 3 of them have hypertension, Gordon Weisner, Jill Smith, and Jack Jones, and only 1 of them is on an antihypertensive, and that's Jack Jones. He's on metoprolol. Gordon Weisner's timolol eye drops don't count because they're an anti-glaucoma medication, and generally, although there is sometimes some accidental systemic absorption, that's the side effect and not the therapeutic, so he's not technically on an antihypertensive medication. So the correct answer is we have 2 hypertensive patients who are not taking an antihypertensive. So briefly, let me review what SNOMED CT is before I tell you, and NDF-RT before I tell you what answers they give. SNOMED CT stands for the systematized nomenclature of medicine clinical terms, and the clinical terms was added because it was merged with a similar resource from the United Kingdom. It's originally developed, though, by the College of American Pathologists. It's now owned by the International Health Terminology Standards Development Organization, and it's designed to be a standard terminology for codifying data, especially electronic medical record data. And to do that, it's got about 311,000 concepts, 800,000 terms for those concepts, so it includes synonyms, and it's got about 1.36 million relationships among those concepts that tell us how they're related together. And I'll show you some examples. But it's got standardized codes and terms for diseases, disorders, procedures, anatomy, and medications, including drug classes. And it's been widely recommended as a state-of-the-art standard. Now, NDF-RT stands for National Drug File Reference Terminology. It was built off the Veterans Affairs National Drug File and turned into a reference terminology. It's part of a set of federal medication terminology standards in the United States. It's now distributed as part of RxNorm. They cover different areas. And it has about 40,000 concepts, 133,000 terms, and 294,000 relationships. And it covers drugs, drug products, ingredients, mechanisms of action, therapeutic classes, and so on. So if we use SNOMED CT to query our EMR data set, our small sample fake EMR data set, it tells us that 1 patient has hypertension and is not on an antihypertensive medication. And if we query, there's 2 ways we can get the answer from NDF-RT, and I'll show you those 2 ways. But the first way, we get an answer of 3, and the second way, we get an answer of 1. So these resources uniformly give us varying and wrong answers.